what you need to hear, what needs to happen for you to receive. My words is the power of sound. The power of sound, which is the reason why everything that we know exists. Similar as Nikola Tesla, who said that if you want to decode, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of vibration and tonality. Our sound is so potent that in ancient times, every culture said it all began with a sound, with a primordial vibration. Now, whether you think of Tibetan monks chanting the Om, or if you think of a South American tribe singing their own songs, there is no culture in the world that does not engage and play with the power of sound. Where does it all start? It starts with our throat, which is the center of our expression, which is a center that communicates truth. Now, it is not a surprise that in the English language, when we get to explain how something, a word, is being combined, we say the word spelling. Have you ever seen the comparison between a spelling and a spell? Did you know that in ancient times, abracadabra means I speak it to existence? That is ancient Aramaic for you, just because we can. So when I say I speak something into existence, basically the moment my mouth or your mouth or anybody's mouth for that matter is using sound and the intent together with the meaning that is being created or painted by a word, we are creating pictures into the minds of other people. But the importance is to be very, very specific. Because if I tell you now to think of a tree, you might think of a very luscious, green, beautiful tree, and I may think of a very small, brown, dark tree. It's important to be specific of how we are using our words, because whatever we spell activates a new reality around us. And whether we are aware of it or not, it does happen for everybody anywhere in the world. Our words have power. Every single person, no matter their background, no matter their upbringing, has been introduced with the power of sound before we even emerged into this world. By hearing a continuous, ever-loving hum of the drum that was located usually above our heads, which is that of the mother's heart, we were all introduced into this world with a sound. Now, any word can have its own meta effect, but the importance behind it is that if there is no intent of the words we are using, then a word in itself can have also zero impact. If we don't fill it in with a vision internally, with a mental image, or with an energetic footprint, then the word in itself can remain shallow. If, however, our words are being used very precisely, then they can be the ones that weave a very consciously written reality. Similar as when we see television, for example. What does the word television mean to you? For me, if I break it down, it means something that tells me a vision. Now, do you want this vision to be yours? Somebody else's? How are you engaging with the visions, with the words that are touching your energetic field every day? Which are the words you want to touch with somebody? If the last thing that somebody remembers of you is your energy, or your smile, or something you said, what is the last thing you would like to make a positive impact with in somebody's life? Words have meaning, words have power, but it's also in understanding how we use them that we can co-shape a new reality. In the last decade, there was a very long study conducted in Japan by a fantastic researcher and scientist called Dr. Masaru Emoto. What he did was, with his team, they researched that water has consciousness, that water is a living entity, that every single molecule of a water drop has the capacity to change its shape, form, and matrix, depending on which information it's been fed. What he did in his double-blind studies was, in 2 different rooms, he positioned 2 different teams, which he then sided together, so to really have an active blind study going on. And he asked them to envision or speak, to communicate. In room A, beauty, the words of love, the words of positive intent, the words of benevolence. And in room B, to swear at the water, to say really horrible, stupid, negative things to the water. He then froze those 2 buckets in order to be able to see visually how that water molecule would look like. And you wouldn't believe the outcome that it had. The water that has been affected by negativity, by bad swearing words, was foul, was greenish, was asymmetric and chaotic. The water that was affected by love and benevolence and kindness was starting to become very luminous and shining and radiant and beautifully symmetric. Please do your own research in what I've just conveyed with you, because a part of that study, he also did amazing research in regard how music affects us, because music at the end of the day is nothing but a composition of different sounds that can enrich us on every day of our lives. So knowing how sound and words affect water, when we remember how more than 75% of our bodies consist of water, just imagine for a moment how you affect yourself, your health, your mindset, your body, your physique with your own self-talk. I'm inviting you to go throughout the day and just observe your self-talk. Is it positive or is it negative? If it's negative, how can you change it into something positive? How can you flip the narrative around? Because the power is in you. Whether you're going to be luminous and vibrant and harmonious and beautiful, which I know you can, or if you're just going to sit in your dim light, not really seen. Why would you do that? Let us see your light. I'm excited to see all of your lights. I'm excited to see how you speak your own beauty, your own health, your own vibrancy into the reality of your being. And maybe 50 years ago what I said would have sounded crazy, but it's scientifically proven, so try it out and share with me how your experiences were so far. I'm asking you now, what is one of your favorite sounds? What is one of your favorite laughters? When do you actually like your own voice? Have you ever thought that the word voice and vocation have the same root? Maybe it's because if you enter the path of your purpose, if you're going to walk into the path of your vocation, you actually are sharing with the world your unique voice. That is something we truly need, because nobody is you, and that is your superpower. If you like to play with sounds, I promise you that if you're going to click on the subscribe and the bell button, every time you hear the bell, you know that it's me talking to you, because I will have a new video sharing truths of wisdom with you. However, I always encourage you to keep a critical mind, to question everything I share, and to make up your own mind, because that, in the end of the day, is how we're going to broaden the global conversation about us and about consciousness. Thank you so much.